I want you to picture the person you imagine when you hear the words self-discipline. You probably picture someone with an almost robotic, iron will. Someone who wakes up at 4 a.m. without hesitation, takes ice-cold showers, eats nothing but lean protein and vegetables, and powers through their work with a level of focus that seems superhuman. We look at this image and we think, I could never be like that. I just don't have that kind of willpower. We try. We set an ambitious goal. We rely on pure, brute force determination to achieve it. And for a day, maybe even a week, it works. But then, inevitably, we have a stressful day. We get tired, and our willpower crumbles. We skip the gym, we order the pizza, we binge watch the TV show. And in the aftermath, we are left with a feeling of failure and guilt, convinced that we are fundamentally weak or lazy. But what if I told you that this entire image of discipline is a myth? What if true, unbreakable self-discipline has very little to do with willpower at all? What if it's not about being tougher, but about being smarter? The most disciplined people in the world don't have a secret reservoir of willpower that you don't. They have simply designed a better system. Today, we are going to deconstruct the myth of the iron will and rebuild our understanding of self-discipline from the ground up. We will explore why relying on willpower is a losing strategy, and I will share 4 powerful, science-backed pillars you can use to build a system of discipline that doesn't require constant struggle, but instead works with your natural psychology to make doing the right thing the easiest thing. To build a new system, we first have to understand why the old one, relying on pure willpower, is destined to fail. For a long time, we thought of self-control as a virtue, a matter of character. But research from psychologists like Dr. Roy Baumeister has revealed that willpower is not a trait. It's a resource, and it is a very limited resource. This is a concept known as ego depletion. The research shows that our capacity for self-control is like a muscle. It gets tired with use. Every single act of self-regulation throughout the day, resisting the urge to eat a donut, forcing yourself to focus on a boring task, staying calm when a colleague is frustrating you, all of these actions deplete your finite store of willpower. Think of your willpower like your phone's battery. You start the day at 100%. Making the decision of what to wear costs you 2%. Resisting the urge to check social media during a meeting costs you 5%. Dealing with a difficult client costs you 15%. By the time 6 p.m. rolls around, and it's time to make the disciplined choice to go to the gym instead of collapsing on the couch, your willpower battery is at 10%. You have nothing left in the tank. Your desire for immediate comfort will almost always win against your depleted self-control. Relying on willpower to be disciplined is like planning a long road trip by simply hoping you never have to refuel your car. It's a strategy designed for failure. The secret to unbreakable self-discipline, then, is not to try and develop a bigger gas tank of willpower. It's to build a system so efficient that achieving your goals barely uses any gas in the first place. So let's build that system using 4 foundational pillars. The first, and by far the most important pillar, is to design your environment for default success. The most disciplined people are not fighting heroic battles against temptation all day long. They have already won the war by strategically removing the temptations from their environment. They understand a simple principle. Your environment and the cues within it have a more powerful influence on your behavior than your own intentions do. They make their desired behaviors the path of least resistance. Let's make this practical. Instead of using willpower to force a good habit, you use environmental design to make it easy. If you want to go for a run first thing in the morning, don't rely on your tired, groggy morning brain to have the discipline to get ready. The night before, lay out your running shoes, your shorts, your shirt, and your headphones right by your bed. You are making the act of starting as frictionless as possible. If you want to drink more water, don't just hope you'll remember. Keep a large, full water bottle on your desk, in your line of sight, at all times. If you want to read more, don't leave your book on a shelf. Leave it on your pillow in the morning, so it's the first thing you see when you get into bed. This principle is even more powerful for breaking bad habits. Instead of using willpower to resist a temptation, You use environmental design to make it hard or impossible. If you want to stop eating junk food, the most effective strategy is not to stare at a bag of chips in your pantry and resist it for hours. The most effective strategy is to not have it in your house in the first place. You win the battle at the grocery store, not in your kitchen at 10 p.m. If you want to stop wasting time on your phone, don't rely on your discipline to ignore the buzzing notifications. Put your phone in another room while you work, or use an app that completely blocks distracting websites for a set period. The core idea is this: make your good habits easy, visible, and obvious. Make your bad habits difficult, invisible, and inconvenient. This single pillar does more for your discipline than any amount of toughing it out ever will. The second pillar of effortless discipline is to automate your decisions with rules and routines. As we learned from the concept of ego depletion, every decision you make drains your willpower battery. Therefore, a key strategy for preserving your self-control is to make as few decisions as possible, especially regarding your goals. You achieve this by automating your behavior through predetermined rules and established routines. A rule is a simple, non-negotiable principle you set for yourself that eliminates the need for in-the-moment deliberation. For example, you might create a rule that says, "I do not hit the snooze button." When your alarm goes off, there is no internal debate. There is no negotiation with your sleepy brain. The decision has already been made. You get up. Other powerful rules could be, "I do not check work email after 7 p.m. or "I go to the gym on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, period." The rule is the script. Your only job is to follow it. Routines are another form of automation. The most effective way to build a new routine is a technique called habit stacking. This involves linking a new, desired habit to an existing habit that you already do automatically. The formula is, after current habit, I will new habit. For example, after I pour my first cup of coffee in the morning, I will immediately meditate for 5 minutes. Or, after I finish my workday and close my laptop, I will immediately change into my gym clothes. You are piggybacking the new, difficult behavior onto the effortless momentum of an existing one. By creating these rules and routines, you take your unreliable, in-the-moment motivation out of the equation. The third pillar is to connect your actions to a deeper why. Discipline often falters when our daily actions feel disconnected from a meaningful purpose. Willpower is a finite battery, but a powerful why is an infinite, renewable source of energy. This is about tapping into your intrinsic motivation, which is the drive that comes from within, rather than from external rewards or punishments. The practice here is to go beyond surface-level goals. Don't just set a goal like, "I want to lose 20 pounds." You need to ask yourself why, repeatedly, like a curious child, until you get to the deep, emotional, identity-based reason. So, why do you want to lose 20 pounds? To be healthier. Why do you want to be healthier? So I can have more energy. Why do you want more energy? So I can be a more present and playful parent for my children. And why is that important to you? Because being a great parent is a core part of who I am and who I want to be. Now you have transformed the goal. The daily choice is no longer, should I eat this piece of cake or go for a walk? That is a battle of willpower that is easily lost. The choice now becomes, does this action align with my identity as a present, energetic parent? By connecting your daily discipline choices to your core values and your desired identity, you are no longer forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do. You are simply acting in alignment with the person you want to be. This is a far more powerful and sustainable source of motivation than sheer force of will. This brings us to the fourth and most counterintuitive pillar: practice forgiveness, not guilt. Our conventional wisdom about discipline is that when we fail, when we slip up, we should be hard on ourselves. We think that guilt and self-criticism will whip us into shape and prevent us from making the same mistake again. But the science shows that the exact opposite is true. Guilt, shame, and self-criticism are highly stressful emotional states. They deplete our willpower. They make us feel weak and hopeless, and they often trigger something called the "what the hell" effect. This is the thought process that says, well, I've already broken my diet by eating one cookie, so what the hell, I might as well eat the entire box. Self-criticism doesn't lead to better behavior. It leads to giving up. The resilient, disciplined approach is one of self-compassion. When you inevitably have a lapse, because you are human, you treat it not as a moral failure, but as a data point. The first step is to forgive yourself immediately. The second step is to get curious. Ask, what can I learn from this? Why did this happen? Was I too tired? Was I too stressed? Was the temptation too available in my environment? Instead of attacking your character, you analyze your system. And then you make a small adjustment to your system to make that failure less likely in the future. Discipline is not about being perfect. It is about how quickly you can get back on track after you stumble. Guilt keeps you on the ground, wallowing in failure. Self-compassionate analysis helps you get back up, learn, and take the next step forward. So, let's bring it all together. Unbreakable self-discipline is not the product of a superhuman will. It is the product of intelligent design. It is the outcome of a system built on 4 pillars. 1. You design your environment so the right choice is the easy choice. 2. You automate your decisions with rules and routines. 3. You connect your daily actions to a deep and meaningful purpose. And 4. When you fail, you practice forgiveness and analyze your system, not your character. Stop trying to be a hero who is constantly battling temptation. That is a battle you will eventually lose. Instead, become an architect. Become a designer of your own life. Remove the friction for the things you want to do, and create friction for the things you want to avoid. That is the real path to building a discipline that doesn't break, because it was never based on force in the first place.